folks, and welcome back to Islandish Podcast, and welcome to the month of July. This is our Independence Month, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is episode 28 of the Islandish Podcast. I am your host, Yami Swim, better known as Yams, and we are here with another one. And in the mustard seat, we have Mr. Shockwave himself. We have Mr. Big Football Man, Steelers fan, educated in Canada, born in Nassau, now residing in Freeport, Mr. Eugene Mcminns. Round of applause, clap it up, clap it up. Welcome to the show. How you feeling being in the chair?
Nah, it's cool, man. I think it's an honor and a privilege to be sitting in this chair right now, man. It's pretty smooth.
Good. So we're going to start at the very beginning because some people feel like they know you, but they don't really know you. You was talk with a little bit of an accent when you ready. You was code switch. But you are actually a Bahamian, educated in Canada. So let them know about that initial journey for you, moving from New Providence to Canada and what you did while you were in Canada.
Well, I grew up in Coconut Grove in Nassau. And I always loved football. There wasn't a lot of avenues for football in Nassau. And then at that time, there was like an age requirement too. So it wasn't a lot of youth programs. It was just more like adult football, like tackle and stuff like that. So what they used to do is they would have like these football teams. And these football teams would kind of let, some of the young guys kind of hang around a little bit, help out with the equipment and stuff like that. So I used to do that a little bit. There was a pastor that was around the corner from my house, and he used to take a couple of neighborhood boys and take them out to the park and play football. I think I was around 14 at the time, and I think around that time, 2004 or 5, there was a video game called NFL Street.
Okay.
And I used to, that was the closest I could get to playing football. Playing street football, it was a 7-on-7 video game. I thought that was pretty awesome. I did that for a bit. I learned the game of football. There was an opportunity with some visits. As I got older in grade 12, they were here in Nassau visiting. I went to the combine, did well, got a scholarship.
Which team or school hosted the combine?
It was actually Harlan College.
Okay.
Well, the funny story about that was Carl McCartney, who is a legendary linebacker who played for the Calgary Stampeders up in the CFL, Canadian Football League. He brought down maybe 4 or 6 big-time university, man. If my memory serves correct, I think it was Auburn University, Texas University was there, man. Lindenwood University was there, and the Toronto Argonauts. There was a guy from the Toronto Argonauts was there. Must have been like 110 guys to this combine.
Man. Bahamian kids.
Bahamian adults, kids, like everybody was there, like. And he had a personal trainer he brought down as well because he was still actively playing when he was down. And then I was very fortunate. He took a couple of us, and I got to train with a professional, guy. I thought that was pretty cool. So it was about 3 weeks of training. The warm up alone was like 45 minutes.
Nice.
It was insane, like with these different stretches and aerobics and all of that. And I thought that's pretty cool. When he went to the Carl McCartney Combine, man, they were eliminating guys based off the warm-up. 100 and something of us, and you was just a number. Everybody got their pins and stuff, right? And I think my number was 193 or 197. One was my number. And I played DB and receiver. So his personal trainer, kind of really doubled down on the drills that they were going to, give us at the combine. Man, I survived the warm-up. I mean, they were cutting 10 guys at a time.
Wow.
Like at the warm-up, I thought that was pretty crazy. I was like, whoa, this is exactly what he said it was going to be. And, after doing the vertical jump, the broad jump, the 40-yard dash, the 5-10-5 shuttle, again, they only took like the top set of guys out of those drills, and I was very fortunate to be in that. And then we moved over into the one-on-ones, and I did pretty well there. I was able to impress, get a scholarship, potential scholarship from Lindenwood University, and the only issue was the coach that was interested in me, he asked for SATs, and I was like, oh my gosh,
Mm,
I don't have SATs, right? You know,
right.
the standard Americanized, I didn't have that. So I was like, wow. So I was pretty sad because, but
Opportunity slipped through your fingers.
yeah, it was couple opportunities slipped through my fingers, man. Every time we'd have American coaches come down, they'll host these little tryouts, and it would either be finances or that SAT, you know. So
And then later on, it was age.
in an age, so right. So I went to so after that, a week after that Kamikaze combine, I left there. I heard Harlan College was having a combine, man, and I went to it. I saw it in the newspaper like last minute. I said, hey, can we with the pro guy? And I'm blowing through these drills left, right, and center. I'm running routes. I'm catching the ball. We go to the catching drill. And I immediately impressed one of the football president that was there and the international director that was also there from Harlan College. And they said, man, hey, how you doing? My name is Eugene Mcminns. This is my uncle. You know, he'll represent me. Like, he'll come and talk to you guys. And he was impressed with the gate. You know, fast forward now, I end up getting one of, I got a pretty good size scholarship to go ahead and attend Harlan College. And man, I have a like-so career up there at Harlan. So
Wonderful.
yeah, that itself is another story.
Yeah, a whole different story.
Yeah.
So you played through college, so that basically helped you to get to university, help you get your degree, being able to go over there.
Yeah.
So with that, and we're going to talk after the break about the football program you have, but what are some of the things you can tell parents, especially those who want their children to have a football future? What are some of the things they need to start doing now at this phase? If their child is 7, in the 9th grade, in the 10th grade, what are some things they need to be preparing for on their end if they want their children to have opportunities?
Put money away, put savings away. Have a bank account that is just strictly for a college fund, because there are opportunities. Because here's the thing is, right, we tell our children to get good grades, to stay out of trouble, to be disciplined,
Right.
and when they come of age, you want to have something to give them. If an opportunity comes,
Right.
because of their hard work and their merit and them listening to your good counsel, financially as parents, you want to back them, right?
Right.
Because they might have an opportunity, they might have like a partial scholarship, and then you gotta, you know,
Front the rest.
or you might get a full ride, and then the hurtful part is then the housing might become a problem,
Right.
right? So,
Yeah.
and it's just so much little things like that, right, that you have to really kind of put away.
Yeah, because there's really no such thing as a 100% full scholarship when it comes to international students. Like, it's always going to be something. Like, even if you don't have to have the money, sometimes you have to prove on your bank account or your bank statements that if something happens, as the parent, I could step in financially and help my child.
Yeah, even if there are full rides, but there are full rides with housing and everything is 100% provided, but still, like, during the process of the visa, let's say the kid loses a scholarship.
That's true, too. That
right?
happens.
Like, let's say the kid has to take a year away from school. Like, you still have to show the embassy, whether you're going to Europe or Canada or the U.S., that you have sufficient funds in your bank account to support your child while he's away.
Yeah.
Right? So even then, like, you know, if you still do get a full ride, you still need to show sufficient funds. And I would recommend any parent to really just start stocking money away while they're young. While they're young, yeah.
So also, speaking about that, and you mentioned a lot about what the parents need to do, but what are some of the things you would recommend for the students to do? We did mention about their academics and being good in school and being disciplined, but if they want to get the attention of coaches and teams and scouts at schools in the U.S., Canada, or whatever, what are some things they could do even as high school students in terms of working out, footage, all those different stuff?
Train your mind. I would say open your mind. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of places there, oh man, they think it just happens overnight. No, it doesn't. Like, you know, you could be athletic, you could be phenomenal athlete, but you gotta study the game. All right, and that's for all sports. Actually, that's for everything in life. You want to be a doctor, well, you gotta go start watching doctor shows. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to be a engineer, well, start even your social media feed. It should be things that
related to what you
want to do in life. Like, you know, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you ain't gonna be following deep sea diving.
Right.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make sense. So I meant to say astronaut, but
Right, the
yeah,
same thing.
yeah, same thing though. But you want to immerse yourself in what you're truly passionate about. Like if I love football, I'm gonna be following the top coaches in the world.
Right.
Right? I'm not gonna be following NASCAR.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be following track and field. Like I'm
Right.
gonna be following the best of the best. Like I want to know what they doing. I want to hear them talk. I want to hear their interviews. I want to hear how their program is. I want to hear their athlete speed. I want to hear the standard. Right? What does it take to get up there? If I could acquire some of those intangibles out the gate, that's not expected of me. That is coming from a country that football is next to non-existent, like in regards of a high school systematic structure. Yeah, like you gotta study the environment you want to go into.
Good.
Yeah.
So that brings me to my next question. So in terms of workouts, what are the type of things? Because I know you mentioned like when you went to combines and the type of workouts they had y'all doing and things like that. So what are some workouts they should be getting their body conditioned to doing? And what should they like search on YouTube to try and find those type of workouts so they could mimic it?
I wouldn't say mimic it. I would say you want to look at workouts that you can afford to do.
Okay,
right?
Good point.
For an example, right? If you look at the Bahamas in itself, right? Well, Freeport, I don't know Freeport to have a lot of hills, right?
Right.
Right. So, but we have beaches, right? You know, I would say getting on a beach and doing a lot of resistance training, right? Because that's good for the ankles, right? Strengthening all of those muscles in the foot and allowing it to build up and be very strong. Gym training, going to an affordable gym. I don't believe in going to a gym and paying a high membership is going to give you results. I believe going to an affordable gym with the knowledge of how to properly work out will give you the best results. You know, dieting, understanding what they're eating and how they're eating, and then just being very disciplined too, right? In regards to your diet. Like if you got to fast some days, you got to, right?
Right.
So understanding what the pros are doing, understanding what they're doing at every level, not just the pros. Everybody's saying, look at the pros, look at the pros. No, no, no. Look at the area where you're trying to go. If you're trying to play high school football, look at what the high school football guys are doing.
Right.
If you want to play college ball, look at what the colleges are doing.
Right.
Understand the college divisions, understand the history of the college, and then also understand multiple programs that you can go and study. Because people say, oh, I just want to go for sports.
Right.
And it's like, no, bro, like, there's going to come a time where you cannot play anymore. And you're going to have to walk away from the game and begin life.
Understandable. Good point. So we're going to ask you one last question before we go on our commercial break. You recently had, just this week, Scoot Watson, who is a coach, the head coach for Greenville High School. He's the head football coach, and that school is in South Carolina. And they had different coaches here, and they trained with a lot of the young people who were present. And first of all, I want to say congratulations on having that.
Thank you.
They've never been able to come over here and pull off that camp, and you were able to assist them with doing that. With that camp and them being here, what are some of the takeaways and things that they mentioned about some of the young talent we had here in Grand Bahama?
Man, first of all, they were impressed about a couple of guys, and you know, I have to put a fact statement on there. That man has about 25 plus years of football. He has seen tremendous amount of athletes. There's so many other ways he could have spent his time, but he wanted to come here and really give back and volunteer his time to coach our people, and I thought that was pretty cool. You know, because he could have been doing something else.
Right.
But I know for a fact, him coming down here, it really opened the eyes of a lot of the kids that are in my program, right? Because I'm trying to tell them, I say, hey, this is the standard.
Right.
This is how practices are. This is how they're going to be. It's the little things that matter. And to be honest with you, when the coaches were coming down on them, the only reason they got mad at them because for the little things, like they wasn't paying attention. They ran the drill wrong after they showed them 2-3 times, you know, or they could see the effort's not there, you know. Those are the things you have control over.
Right.
Right? Being, you know, I'm not fast enough or he fast, you don't have control over that, right?
Right.
That's a physical mistake. They're gonna get upset with you for a mental mistake faster than a physical mistake. And the kids having that opportunity to experience that from real coaches and a winning coach at that.
Right.
Like he's been, Carolina Panthers coach of the year.
Oh,
Like,
nice.
Like he's no small fry, right? If you type his name in and that's all the information.
Yeah, he has a really extensive
long resume
right? When it comes
so,
to football.
And then his staff alone, like they've been around tons of Division I talent, tons of Division I schools, man. It's just too long to mention. Just type the name in.
Right. Wonderful. So we're going to take a commercial break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk and really dive into what is Shockwave Elite 5.
Yo, what's up, Bahamas? My name is Andrew Williams, aka Cat.
And I'm your boy Mix.
And we're representing Off the Bench, the #1 talk sportcast in the Bahamas.
In the world, my boy.
My bad partner. So
Yeah.
we cover anything sports throughout the Bahamas. We cover our Bahamian athletes wherever they are, and they're making waves in sports. We cover them.
Hey, just tune in to us every Wednesday here on Superior Talk at 6 o'clock p.m.
The #1 talk show
In the world, Craig.
Yes, so we are back with Islandish Podcast, where we're talking with Eugene Mcminns and the amazing things he is doing for youth football here in Grand Bahama. Now, let's dive into that. How did you decide, being here in Freeport, to pivot into doing youth football league? Because at first you weren't doing a league. So let's talk about that journey, and I'm going to let you tell the story.
Me personally, I had a decision, a huge decision, that I was like, I'm getting ready to go back to Canada to go coach university ball and get back into it because one of my biggest goals was I wanted to be a university head coach, and I was doing pretty good. I was climbing up the ladder. I was.
You were a wide receiver coach.
Yeah, I was a wide receiver coach at Dalhousie University, and then from there I figured, there was some other opportunities to where I could have coached a bigger school, and then slowly climb the ranks, become an offensive coordinator, and then from there, head coach, and then all recruiter, and then that's how it works. So for me, I said to myself, well, there is no football here at all on this island, and
You mean for youth?
For youth at all. Like, there's no youth fly football here on this island, right? And fly football is like very basic fundamentals. And I was like, man, why didn't they start this? There's a league here. Why didn't they just take time out their day to invest in it? And then I realized something. I said a lot of ground men that are here on the island are on self-preservation, meaning that they work long hours.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So where are they going to find the time? A lot of them have families they have to attend to. And the only available time is on Sundays, and they're playing in the league, right? That's when that league operates. I'm like, But then I was like, due to my college experience and me, a lot of people do not know this about me. I'm an event planner.
Yes,
Like,
we
a
can
lot
get
of
into
people
that
don't
later.
know that.
We
Like,
can get into that
They really
later.
don't know that. So, and it's not my first time doing fly football. Like, I've been doing fly football when I was in Canada. I used to
Yes,
do
you had a
tournaments.
flag football tournament in Canada.
So I did that, and it was good. I was the community I was in was always looking forward to when I was dropping my next event. What Shock are up to? When the next Shockwave event? I'll pass through the neighborhood and they be like, hey, let me know when you dropping something. I'll be like, yeah, I'll bring my kids or I'll come over. And I was doing it for like 3 or 4 years. And I said, man, there's this kid comes up to me, right? I'm playing in an adult league.
Here in Freeport.
And one of the coaches like, man, hey, coach, can he join our practice? He's like, nah, man, Gene, we got to focus here. We got to get this quick. I'm like, bro, half our guys are late. Like, let this kid get some work. And it's like, so, coach kind of shined him off. He said, yo, come back. You with me, yeah? You can work out. I got the kids number. And I promised that kid, I said, hey, you really love football? I said, coach, I want to play football more than anything. You never know. And I was like, I remember that. I was like, yo. So I started it. Like, I said, I promised that kid. I said, listen, I'm going to get the ground. I went and knocked on a lot of doors. Asked a lot of people. And then at some point, I said, I just got to do this myself.
Yeah.
Because everybody's telling me it cannot be done. or it costs a ton of money.
Right.
And I'm like, no, it doesn't. Right. So I reached out, a couple of my mentors in Canada, one of my mentors in Nassau, and I was like, yeah, I'll help you get started. So they sent me some stuff, man, and we was able to brand everything. They got my brand with the flags. And
Yeah,
got,
big ups to this jacket, man. You
Yeah.
come a long way.
yeah, long way, man. So we got we got this pre-order now.
Yeah. We
Right,
got
so-
them pre-orders. Make sure I put your orders in. Baby.
Yeah, so I started it, and I got a couple of coaches from the community who love football, diehard football guys, and they helped me build it, and I'm so grateful to that.
Wonderful. So the league that you offer, let's get into more details about that. So what is, the league just ended. It's a 10-week league that you had this year. But talk more about what Shockwave Elite 5 is and what's the end goal or what's the goal for the participants who come into your program.
Mentorship.
Mentorship,
Just
okay.
mentorship, man. Just keeping kids off the street, just keeping kids focused, man. Just, teaching them how to be a man and using sports to do that. Using
Okay.
flag football to do that, right? Football, in my personal opinion, is a very disciplined sport.
Right. And
Right.
very inclusive.
It's very inclusive. It don't leave no kid out, right?
Right.
If that kid only got one leg, we can find something for him to do. If he only
Right.
got one arm, we can find something for him to do. If he got one eye, we can find something for him to do.
Right.
So, me personally, I don't like to leave a kid out. And football is very inviting. It invites all shapes and sizes. There's always something for someone to do and be
Yeah.
competitive at
Right.
that, right? And it can be played in the mind, but at the same time, it's physical. So I love that about football. But what we offer here in the program is that, teaching the kids discipline, and also football, there's more of a consequence when you're playing football, versus other sports, right?
Explain that. What you mean?
For an example, right, in a basketball game, and you're playing basketball and you miss a layup, the consequence of that is that they take the ball and they score and there's only 2 points. Versus in football, you fumble the ball or you throw an interception, it can kind of cost you the game early out, right?
Yeah.
In basketball, there's, if they get up 10 points on you, you could kind of
Climb right back.
Climb
up
right
in
back.
a couple minutes. Yeah.
But football, it's pretty unforgiving. You don't score as quickly. Everybody has to be on the same page. You cannot freestyle and do your own thing.
Right.
You cannot, it ain't a one-man show either, right? You need everybody to be on the same page to execute. And in order to score, when the ball snaps, you got to pass it to another person, right? You can't just inbound the ball versus basketball and just 1, 2, 3 and go. Can't really do that in football. And it teaches you how to be more considerate of people. I mean, mostly all sports do that, right? But football, you kind of want to do that.
You kind of have to.
Yeah, you
wanna
kind of
win.
have to, right?
Yeah.
It helps your communication skills a little bit more. You are forced to communicate.
Yeah.
You are forced, and I say forced to communicate. Because if everyone's not on the same page, you're just going to keep building up penalties, and then you're going to be pushing your team back, right? So there's a lot more consequences in football versus other sports.
Understandable.
So I would say that.
Okay, great. So with your program and the things you have done, let's talk about some of the people and persons who've helped you to get started. I know this year would have been your second year. Last year would have been your first year even trying to do it and pull it off. So what are some of the local resources and international resources that have helped you to pull this off? And the reason why I'm asking this is because you said something very powerful. You said that a lot of persons told you or why it couldn't be done at first and how expensive it is and all these things you have to do and all these things you have to get started. Let's talk about what you actually had at the beginning to get started and what you ended up getting as you continued to press forward.
Nothing.
Nothing, okay.
I had a football.
Okay.
I think I took about $35. I went to Kelly's, right, a local store here, and bought a football. And I just started with that. And then I used to use the team flags, when they
From the adult team you were playing on.
Yeah, when wasn't too busy. And I still had some flags that a good buddy of mine, one of my Canadian friends, Mark Conrad, I had those flags with me.
That you brought with you from Canada.
Yeah, so I had them. just for my own leisure purposes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I used them to train the kids.
Okay.
They wasn't the best flags, but boy, we made them work.
Make 'em work.
We made them work, right? Because it just sitting there so long. And that's how that's how I started. And I just, one kid told another, next kid told another. Next thing you know, we got this,
Mini scrimmages.
yeah, you have these kids filling in at our adult practices because the adults are too busy working.
Right.
They couldn't come. They always couldn't make practice, right? So they would come and we used the kids to kind of fill in. And then after that, I say, okay, hey guys, I'm gonna hit the schools. Once I spoke to one of my mentors at a Nassau, and for privacy reasons, I won't mention his name. And I got sponsorship from him, and he was able to give me my first set of flags, like official, like Shockwave flags from Shrooms, which is pretty cool.
An amazing brand.
Yeah, it's amazing brand. He got me the good stuff, and once I did that, I was like, okay, cool. Then I met up with another local printer, Antonia. She's awesome.
Antonia Gifts, big up to you.
Yeah, man. She took care of me. She was able to do the jerseys.
For a lot of your tournaments.
A lot of my tournaments, always. And she used to she used to do great work in a short span of time. Right? She used to make it work. And the kids loved it, man. We split the kids up into divisions. At one time, we had too much kids because we didn't have enough manpower to really attend to all of these children, right? And that was one of the reasons why I had to break the tournaments up into every 3 months.
Yeah.
I'll do a tournament. I'll do free training. The training I used to offer was free, so I was a volunteer a lot. And I really got started at Urban Renewal.
Yes,
Right.
Urban Renewal in Pine Ridge.
Yeah, so, spoke to Lisa Higgs there. I went there, and she was really nice. And I say, hey, I wanted to do a flag football free camp. And, man, she was all on board for that, man. We had, within an hour, it was like 40 kids.
Yeah, running.
It was like 40 kids on this park. I was like, you could imagine if every Urban Renewal
did something like that.
Like, you'll have a whole football team again. But it was done here before. Like, I'm not the first to do it, right? They had a whole tackle league here. But I was able to do very well because I had a lot of wise men who were here when they had a youth tackle football league here.
Yeah, giving you advice.
Give me a lot of advice, what to do, what not to do, and I listened to them.
Yeah.
I listened to them intently, and they told me all the things they did to make it rise, and they told me the fall of it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna take this hard, priceless material.
Yeah.
And I brought that to, and then that's how I was able to launch Shockwave. There's so much other details, but that's it in a nutshell.
Okay, great, great. So this year you were able to have your 10-week league, which is very commendable. Let's talk about that. Your home field is the Salvation Army field in the back of the Salvation Army Center. So let's talk about that 10-week league, how it went, and just because you've been on the news almost every single week with that league, and that's really commendable. But let's talk in more details about that and let our viewers know how they can either get involved or get their children to participate.
Again, like, man, I'll probably just call me. Like, I'm the type of guy you can just call me. Like, I put my number out there, and I'm pretty friendly. Anybody can call me, answer at all time, all hours. I try my best to get back to all the messages that get to my phone. I know our starting recommended age is about 12 and up.
Right.
But now, after we had South Miami here earlier this year, and now that turned out to be pretty good. We're probably going to branch off and start with a little younger.
And have a little pee-wee section.
Have a pee-wee section, and I'm excited to get that started. And there's a lot of parents that have no problem bringing their child out to that. So that's really going to help the league grow. And then when they get older, then they go play with the big boys.
Right.
And my goal is, personally, is to, if you build stronger men, you have a stronger society.
Facts.
That's something I believe. Like, if you mentor the men, you'll have a stronger society, and you'll have stronger homes. You'll have more focused guys. They're more educated, and I'm hoping to have more seminars and guest speakers come out and educate the boys about the banking system, teaching them about how to get a passport, how to get your visa, how to buy a car, how to save up for a car. And then when you want to travel, okay, cool, this is how you book a hotel, you know, trying to link up with other local chefs
Right.
to offer cooking classes,
Right.
right? I feel like if you invest in men and you make them more capable, their value goes up, you know, and I want them to have a skill set, right? The more educated they are, and we use the word educated, but skill set is more prominent. I feel like should be used when it comes to teaching young men, because as a man, you should know how to change a tire. You should know how to build a bench.
Right.
You know how to cook, know how to fill up your gas. Like just do pretty much a lot of everyday stuff. We have a lot of young men feeling that the object is to get a lot of money,
Right.
right, and look rich.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of people that have a lot of money but are completely useless.
Very true.
Right. They have
Wow.
a lot of funds, but they're kind of
Don't know what to do with it.
No, they just pay people, right?
Right.
So, and then also getting into trades too, because think about it, right? When you call a plumber to your house, you gotta pay him from the minute he knock on your door.
Yeah.
Right?
Facts.
You gotta pay an electrician, you know, you gotta pay a welder. Like there's a lot of trades. There's a lot of trades out there the young men could be learning that can also increase their value and their skill set. And in my personal opinion too, it's like if you focus on the development of a young man, then that's another cornerstone in the community that's gonna benefit. Like he's gonna want to open up his own business, right? He's gonna open up his own shop,
Do right by his family.
Yeah. So, and that's what we need, right?
Definitely. All right, so we're going to take our next commercial break, and then when we come back, we're going to shift gears a little bit and talk about Shaka's experience as an event planner in Canada compared to being here in Grand Bahama. Stay tuned.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jason.
And I'm Cheryl. Join us here on Superior Talk Bahamas YouTube channel every Tuesday at 6 for Let's Talk,
Where we talk about issues that matter to you. We try to come up with workable, practical solutions so we have more action and less talk.
See you on Tuesday.
Okay, so we're back with Islandish Podcast, and we're here with Eugene Mcminns, and we're going to dive a little bit into entertainment. So, Mr. Shockwave, let's dive into that. You are, I ain't gonna lie, because even people I know in Canada, family I have in Canada, when I told them I know you and that we were dating XYZ, they're like, oh, that's Shaka, boy, he showed the dance parties, da 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 da. So let's talk about your experience with throwing events and being a club promoter and a party promoter in Canada. So what are, just to give them a little tidbit into your resume, so why you have the expertise to talk about the conversation we're gonna get into next.
Well, when I went to Harlan College, I graduated with sport and leisure management.
A degree in sport and leisure management.
Yeah,
Okay.
sport and leisure management. And then after that, I got a scholarship to play at Acadia, and where I studied community development.
Okay.
Right? So I know how to handle and talk to people. I know a lot about hospitality. I know a lot about interacting and pulling resources from within the community to make things happen.
Right.
Right? So yeah, I did that. I was an event planner for like a couple of years. My business partner, which was Andreas Diaz, that's my guy right there. He really pushed me to do Shockwave. I wrote Shockwave in one of my presentations.
Okay.
I always used to write it whenever I had like write up a huge project management plan, and I did that a lot for school. So
Okay.
Shockwave didn't come overnight. I always used it, and then I was like, hold on. I started looking underneath, like, there's no brand called Shockwave. You know, the closest thing that was like significant to that was like Shockwave from like Transformers.
Yes.
Right? The
plane.
the Decepticon guy.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I thought that was pretty cool. I've been throwing events since 2019 going into 2020.
Okay.
Right? So I was doing, and I did events fast.
Okay.
Like I was throwing about 7 events in a year,
Okay.
which is a lot. Like almost every 2 months, it was like an event popping off. If anything, I would even say like I would even say like I changed the landscape when I was in Halifax. I
Okay.
changed the pricing of the door.
Okay, so to what?
Well, the pricing of the door back then was like $5 or $10, and then the price increased after COVID because I had one of the biggest parties coming out that time,
Okay,
and the people were paying like $15, $20
to get in.
to come to an event I was doing, and like that was like the owners of the club was like, "There's no way people are paying this." I was like, "Yeah." Because you had them locked down for so long. I understood that. And I was like, as you've been something taken away from so long. So I was
Yeah,
like,
when you finally get it, you can pay whatever.
Yeah, you pay whatever it
Yeah,
was.
we
So
outside.
then all of a sudden I'm like, there was this club in Halifax. It was called Hide and Seek.
Okay.
And I ended up meeting the manager there. Me and my business partner Diaz, we would go and knock on doors and all the girls say, hey, we want to do an event here. They used to do their planning about the minimum 6 to 7 weeks out.
Okay, yeah.
But me, I learned a lesson. I used to be a security guard. This is
Okay.
why I'll tell you why I got into event plan. I used to be a night security guard, and my job sometimes would be I would guard the VIP whenever they come on set. Like when they had backstage, like I was there. I was that big muscle guy. Looking out for the artists.
Okay.
And man, after about 10 concerts, and I saw these promoters walking out with like bags of cash.
It's like, all right, this the business.
And I'm like, they know nothing about hospitality. Next to
Right.
nothing. All they know is how to shake a hand and cut a deal.
Right.
And that was it. There was so much more things they could have done to make that show better.
What are some things that you're mentioning? Because I feel like we have, no offense to any promoters watching or anything like that. I feel like, and the reason why I say is because I've been to a lot of events in Nassau, and no shade, but I prefer Nassau events because of what you exactly said.
Yeah.
The hospitality level is different.
It's different.
You can tell like they respect the fact that I spend in my money. They can be there like, hey, you good, you straight, like, all right, this the bond. And then when you walk in, you make a right and you go right here, you able to, and don't forget we have some games in the back. Don't forget we serving food, or they'll tell you from the door,
Yeah.
like, yo, make sure you go to the ticket line and get your tickets before you get drinks, because the bar ain't taking drinks. I mean, taking money. You have to get the drink tickets first. Like they tell you all of that. Like it's a hospitality thing. So what are some of the things you noticed then that made you want to get into the business?
Care. Like again,
Okay.
like empathy, man. There was a lot of promoters, man, they don't care.
Okay.
Like they're pretty cool. Like, they don't really try to add a lot of aesthetic to their brand.
Right.
Right? They'll say all this so and so entertainment or so and so this. But when you don't even know who the guy is.
Right.
Right? Me, when I did my events, I sat at the door and I shook every single person's hand coming in. And I told them what to expect. And I did that until the club was packed. To the point to where the head security said, hey, we got to close the doors.
Yeah, we got too much bodies.
We got too much
The fire
bodies. They
hazard.
had to wait until people leave in order for someone to get in. It
Yeah.
was like that. And everybody in the event knew my face. If there was a problem, like with bottle service, or there was a problem with security, like they would come to me. Hey, Eugene, we have this going on. Can you help me? And I would make sure they were good.
Right.
I remember this one time. I'll never forget this. There was a young lady, and she was very upset. It was her birthday. None of her friends came.
Okay.
Right? None of her friends came. So I told all the girls, I said, well, hey, go ahead, and they sung a happy birthday. I told the manager, she went, took care of it. That same lady, I had no idea who she was. She was a huge model.
Okay.
Right? And she came back, told her friends about this guy, XYZ, and the club, I only rented that club for that day.
Right.
They benefited overnight because the next day, must see $25,000 in liquor sales in the first 3 hours.
Nice.
I was like, bro, ain't no way. Ain't no way. He say, yeah. So the funny thing, long story short, is one, when you are promoting, you gotta get some stuff in writing, man. I could have got some of that cheese.
Yeah. You gotta get that in writing.
Yeah, but no, she was awesome. She was awesome. That was pretty cool. I really dive into it because my whole purpose was I wanted to do events where there's a niche market, right? I did very well in Canada because I'm Caribbean, Like I'm from the Bahamas, right?
And in that time, 2019, that time it was really like places like Canada and the US were really getting into like dancehall,
yeah, like I was,
music,
I was there when Afro beats was really making, you know, like
waves.
a lot of Caucasians love the Caribbean vibes and the energy
and the sound and
the
carnival
sound,
and
you know. And at that time, I think who was it? Drake dropped, what was it? Scorpion.
Yes.
And it had a bunch of Caribbean tunes.
Yeah, one dance.
One dance.
Yeah, one dance.
And you listen to the songs, there's a lot of mix, there's a lot of that Caribbean tunes in that.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey man, they used to have Caribbean nights waiting, they stopped them. I brought it back.
Okay.
And then when I brought it back, me and the club was like, we're gonna call it Shockwave Saturdays.
Yeah,
so we got the Shockwave Saturdays, and the deal with the club was once a month I had a date, and that date all money was mine.
Okay.
So that's how I got into it, and then it got big. After a while, I was doing pretty well. Word got out, and I ended up doing an event with the city of Halifax, and we did a soca event there. That was awesome, right?
Nice.
We flew in a guy from the Bahamas, a DJ one time. This guy was awesome.
Still awesome.
Yeah,
Big up
this
to
guy.
DJ one time, he doing his big ones
Yeah, like
now.
he come in, man, and he had the entire crowd doing like a Congo line.
Yes, that's his thing.
Like I recorded that, and I was like, man, see? And then at the same time, I had another DJ there. His name is DJ Riggs.
Yeah,
right?
big ups to DJ Riggs. Happy belated birthday.
DJ Riggs, I told this guy, I said, bro, if you didn't keep deleting your Instagram, you would have been bigger than Overdose. I told him that. I was like, man, you dude is hard. Like, he's talented, right? So he comes up there. He's, I mean, if you look up DJ Riggs right now, he probably got about like 14K followers right now. Like
and he just started that account.
he just started that account. Like, you can imagine, like, if he's doing it from back then, one of the best DJs I ever had the honor of working with. Like, he really kind of grow my brand because he was ahead of a lot of things that other DJs wasn't doing yet. Like, he was really in it because he had a deep passion of it. You know, he wasn't in it for the girls. He wasn't in it for the liquor. He was really did it because he loved music and he saw DJing as an art. And that's why my events was good. Like, he could come into a room, 5 minutes, DJ, and the crowd would be jumping. I remember one time, and this, I know it's a side subject. I remember one time, right? He was on as a guest DJ, and they had, they DJ the early hours. This man had the crowd jumping so much. The other promoter, because I'm a visitor this time. The other promoter saw this, say, man, this dude is carrying on. The head DJ tell him to say, hey, you can't play that. You can't play it. You can't. Told him what songs he couldn't play.
Yeah,
because he was stealing his thunder.
Yeah.
The mean DJ gets on. Once the mean DJ gets on, the crowd's not really feeling him as much. The promoter goes up to the guy and say, hey, bro, I'm going to have to let you go early because you're killing my party. Yeah. Riggs gets on and lights it up. And I'm sitting there like, because I always believed in him. I say, man, listen to me. You have a talent for this.
Right.
And that's not even his real passion. That's the funny thing about it.
Sometimes you're just gifted in things, and when something comes naturally to you, it just flows and it just pops off. So let's bring this conversation back now to Freeport. So being in Freeport, and I think you did 1 or 2 events before, low key, but going to events and being someone who's attended events and been to events with me, how would you compare the partying scene or the event entertainment scene in Grand Bahama to that of Canada?
Everybody knows everybody, right? So
yeah.
when you go to, it's not that Freeport people ain't fun or ain't lively. It's just that the island's just so small and everybody knows everybody. You really kind of, you're in a shell a little bit. So you kind of really gotta conduct yourself.
And you want to cut loose.
Yeah, you can't cut loose. You, me, and there, right? Think about this. Let's say I fly in to Freeport, right? Or I'm buying a ticket. You would see the banker you saw today in that event. Let's say I go to Solomon's and grab something. Bam. I see the lady who cash out
at the event.
Right. Then I'll be like, all right, cool. I get the car rental and the lady
person you buy it, get it from
at the party. So it's like then at the same time, it's like it's a lot of, you gotta really, you feel like there's a light on you. Someone's always watching you. So it's like, but when you go out to other events, NASA has like over 350,000 people.
That's the whole country, to be
Yeah.
honest. Well, I don't think it's that much, but
There's a lot of people in
large
Nassau.
majority.
There's a
of people.
lot of people that you could go bar hopping, and you probably won't see the same person.
That's technically true.
Like, there's so much going on in Nassau. There's so much people. If you run into somebody because you're just a famous person.
Yeah, if you run into someone,
Yeah.
it's because they don't leave that area. For example, people who live out west, they usually party in the west. Like they go to what the place called? They go to Sapodilla for happy hour.
yeah.
They go on the fry, or they go to Bahama. That's their spots. That's where they go. But if you live out east, they just go, they just party on Prince Charles, they just party in the south, they just go here, they just go there, so that's understandable. So we're gonna take our next commercial break, and then we come back, we're gonna wrap up this conversation and understand a little bit more about Eugene Mcminns, aka Shocker.
Greetings and welcome to Superior Talk Bahamas. My name is Yvette Swain, and I am here with the Sword Sharpeners Prayer Network. We meet every Monday at 6 p.m., where we dive into the Word of God to see what He would say to us. You are welcome to join us. That's every Monday at 6 p.m. here on Superior Talks. God bless you, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay, so we are back here with Islandish Podcast. I am your host, your girl Yams, reminding you to make sure that you're subscribing to Superior Talk. Hit the notification button down below, and also make sure you're subscribing to Islandish 242 on YouTube, Instagram, all of that good stuff, okay? Thanks. Now, back to you. Explain to them how you even got the name Shocker. Like, who named you that? Where that come from? What roots that have in you? Why you was breed hard? Like I asking you?
Yeah, no, because
Dig so deep.
it is.
Okay.
Man, okay, so I'll use this story. So the name Shocker, when I was a kid, I didn't even know what it meant, right?
Okay.
So someone's like, man, you look at that guy, Shocker. I'm like, who is Shocker, right? I didn't even know what the word was, right? I was a young lad. And
a young lad.
A young lad. So I go ahead, and I used to love the dictionary, by the way. English is my favorite. So I go look up the word, and it means synonym to surprise.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, okay, cool. I like this. I like this word. And I kind of use it. It means underdog to me in a sense, because a lot of times I would find myself in situations where people wouldn't expect me to win. So I'll go home, and I remember one time my uncle was watching the television, and the lady used, in shocking discovery, this happened today. This is an unprecedented event. And I was like, the way that person used it, I was like, hold on. I might be on to something now.
Right.
So I was like, oh. So whenever someone kind of counted me out, I'll probably be in fights where people's like, man, ain't no way he winning this. Or I'll be in a race that there ain't no way he winning this. Or I'll be like, man, I got this exam. I'm in school now, right? I got this exam, in a way people wouldn't even think I passed. And they would get shocked. So I end up sticking with that word, and I used to say that word a lot. When I was at George Prince William, I used to go to the corner and be like, shockers. I used to really echo it to the heart, or just being playful, and then people just stuck with it. They just kept calling me it too, right? Because I kept calling myself it. So at first I didn't think they was. And I'll never forget this life lesson. I'm up in Canada, and one of the guys I look up to, he's like, don't introduce yourself with your nickname. Introduce yourself with your full name. I say, okay, well, my name is Eugene Mcminns, and mostly known as Shocker. And I'll let people, most of the time, people pick to call me Shocker.
Right.
And I'll tell you this a funny joke. People be like, I'm not calling you that. Your name is Eugene. I'll be like, okay, cool, call me Eugene. And funny enough, so much people,
they end up still calling.
They still call me Shocker. Even though they say they ain't gonna call me Shocker, they say, yo, I ain't calling you that. I'm like, yeah, like, okay, cool. And it just rubs off on people.
Right.
Right? So I have that effect.
Clearly.
Yeah.
All right. So my next question, as we get ready to wrap up as well, you do offer personal training and personal workouts as well, and you also assist persons who are doing rehab workouts. So talk a little bit more about that and what you offer in terms of that as a service.
Okay, so with my knowledge and experience, like when it comes to like football in general, fun fact, I got about 15 years of tackle football experience, right? At multiple levels. And I've also played on about 8 or 9 football teams. Like a lot of people don't know that either. I just downplay that. I've been around some of the world's best physiotherapists, and they are awesome. And I've learned so much from them. I've seen a lot of injuries, and a lot of time I had to heal myself and take care of myself as well. And I studied kinesiology a little bit while I was at Harlem College too. So I did understand like how to heal yourself back and rehab your body. I noticed I offered that service because I realized there's a lot of Bahamians that want to get better, but sometimes they can't afford to get the medical
Yeah, like the
advice.
chiropractor and go
So
to. Yeah.
I don't take on everybody, but the only stuff I know I have
Expertise in.
expertise in, mostly just knees like MCL, ACL, hamstrings, calf strains, Achilles, right? Because I play football and those injuries are very common, right? And when you see a friend or a teammate go down or get injured and you see them religiously go to the physiotherapist, like you pick up a thing or two, you're gonna learn. You're around it that long, you're gonna learn, right? So I did that, and I'm having so much fun training the kids right now. So the advanced training that I offer is for kids who want to play high school football, like absolute passion. Parents have no time paying for the extra lessons, where we're up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. in the morning, on the field, on the beach training, in the gym. So, and what we do is, too, we sit down, I teach them the game of football. I also teach them...
Because y'all do film study as well.
Yeah, we teach them how to study film. A lot of Bahamians don't understand how to read film. Some of them don't even know what it is. They just think it's highlights. I'm like, no, it's not.
Right.
Like, it's a studying the game and understand why that play worked, how it developed, why you guys lost the game, why did this play didn't work, all of that, right? So I'll tell you this too. Being a personal trainer is fun. Seeing people overcome their goals and seeing them get healthier and seeing them get better and seeing them improve and develop as a person.
Yeah.
Like their character and just watching their mind that was a little soft become hardened, be more disciplined, and then just watching them win in life.
Yeah.
Just at work, on the job, and in personal life, it's very rewarding. So I keep my prices very reasonable to where almost anybody could afford it. Right?
Nice. I love that. So as we get ready to wrap up now, the last thing I want to ask you is, what is in the future for the Shockwave Elite 5 program? You just wrapped up your Summer Blitz, where you had 2 teams from Nassau on the island. You all competed at the Freeport Rugby Field. That was a successful day. Congratulations on that. So what do you have coming up for the rest of the year that people can look forward to in the Grand Bahama community?
Well, in a couple of weeks, we got Beach Blitz.
What is Beach Blitz?
Beach Blitz is a flag football tournament played on sand.
Oh, nice.
Right? So this is a great idea. I originally got this idea from what was being done in Nassau right now. Tito Bethel and a couple of his other partners started Sound Wars.
Big ups to Sound Wars.
Yeah, that's huge, man. Like, I was so proud. Like, man, I was out of the country for 10 years, right? A lot of people don't know that, right? I was out of line for 10 years straight. I haven't come home in a long time. So when I saw that, I was so proud. I was like, wow, this looks awesome. Like, this is what I'm talking about, using your home resources and building something. It's a lot of work. So I have it here in Freeport. I'm hoping to take it to international level. It's going to be the first time it's ever been done in Freeport. For the youth only. I'm only focusing on the youth because that's where my energy is. And then next year, we could hopefully take it international, where we have different countries come down and visit. That's going pretty well so far. And in October, we are going to go to Nassau's tournament.
Nice.
Right? So we're going to take an all-star Freeport team to go to Nassau and compete in their tournament. I'm so excited about that. And to wrap up the year in November, we have the second annual Island Gridiron, where we play underneath the lights at the rugby club to kind of give them a experience. So I'm excited for when time change. So
Yeah,
the
when it gets a little darker.
The kids look forward to it. I know,
Yeah.
they really do. There is a potential one more event in August, but gotta hear back from my guy. He's in championship game right now in Mexico. So when he gets done with that, we'll see what we can do.
Awesome. So continue to do the amazing things you're doing. Also, congratulations on getting the non-for-profit license with the Shockwave Elite 5. You're legit.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. That's a big thing.
It is a big deal. It's a big deal.
It's important for programs like this to make sure they're legitimate papers, because when certain opportunities like grants and funding come around, you need to have your paperwork. So congratulations on that. But if persons want to sign up their kids, or they want to volunteer, whether it's at coaches, referees, whatever it might be, how can they reach out to you? How can they find the program on social media? Give them all the information as we get ready to sign off.
Well, I'm going to tell you guys how to find me on Instagram, Sharka49. And that's my Instagram right there.
Yes.
Message me, I get back to you. Or you can find me on Facebook, which is Eugene Mcminns. You type me on Facebook, and you can message me on WhatsApp. I'm WhatsApp Messenger, and I'll get right back to you.
Yes, and see, I have to have the information to help them out sometimes. This is just have to do and be prepared as a host. You could also reach the Shockwave program at shockwave.elite.5 on Instagram, and that is also on Facebook. So you can see all the highlights. You also have some footage and everything up from the award ceremony, because you had an award ceremony for the league. Big ups for that, because a lot of people have these football programs and they don't even have no award ceremony. So
the
that's a big deal. You know, make sure you know who is the best based on numbers, not fame. Yeah, you're throwing shade, because you need to have stats. I ain't gonna lie, you just need to have numbers.
You gotta have numbers.
I tired of people running on saying, "Oh yeah, I's the best." What's your numbers like, bro?
See,
where your stats, bro? I need to see these stats. Big ups to the Grandmama Basketball Association. They have stats. The volleyball people, they have stats. Swimming, track, they have numbers. You need to have stats. You can't just be talking off the top of our head. What's your numbers like, bro?
See, here's the thing.
Sorry, a little passionate about this.
Listen, here's the biggest thing for me. I'll tell you this right now. Right? Here's something I want to teach our young men. But you go off stats and you go off numbers. Don't go off no hype.
Right.
Because coaches, you're gonna get exposed.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think you understand. People go off a lot of hype. But where you play at?
See? These Marco alerts is pop off.
Oh, I hope they find him.
Yeah. Hope they find this young man. Continue.
Yeah, so you don't go off hype. You can't ever go off hype, man. You're gonna get exposed. I know that for a fact. This is why when in regards to football, there ain't a lot of guys that can kind of talk to me about the game, because my numbers don't lie. Like, I got good numbers, I was very fortunate to have been around a lot of legends.
Yeah.
A lot of legends.
And you got footage.
And I got footage, I got film, right? Just go look. Like, film doesn't lie. Like, the film don't lie. Listen, I remember one time I went up to school. I introduced myself to a coach. He looked at me. He said, "Man, you look good, but where's your tape?"
Yeah.
I said, I sent my tape to everybody, He says, "All right, cool. Send me a tape. I'll give you a call." Left. I sent my tape. This is when I was getting ready to go pro. I sent my tape to all 9 CFL teams. I sent it to a couple of NFL teams. Within the first 30 seconds from the CFL teams watching my tape, they called me. And they was like, "Man, I don't need to see no more. Let's go. Hey, how fast can you get up here?" As soon as I told them I was an international player, they was like, "Ooh." And at the time, I didn't understand the business side of it, right? Because I was like, I went and I talked to my head coach at the time, Jeff Cummins, and I asked him, I said, "Hey, coach, like they're interested, but they're not like sending me an invite." He said, "Eugene, you gotta understand, why they're gonna take an international player, right, that played here when they could just get a guy from LSU Alabama who just missed the NFL draft."
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, I get it
Yeah,
now, right?
it's in terms
So,
of what I have to invest in that person. Like with you
right?
being international.
I'm taking up a whole roster spot
Yeah,
right
I gotta
now.
help you with your papers. I
All
gotta make sure
day.
you got somewhere to stay. Da, 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 da. Whereas when I have someone who local, he already has somewhere to stay. He already straight. You
Yeah.
just gotta show up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I get that.
and then we left the game. I think we're playing in championship game on the UTEC Bowl. And I'm playing my heart out. It's my final college game. I'll never forget this, right? The scout from the Hamilton Tigers walks over after the game, right? We lose this game. It was a blowout. And this gentleman walks all the way, packed. I mean, the field is flooded with people. He walks straight up to me, shakes my hand, and he said, "It is a shame you are an international player because if they didn't have that rule change, you would have been a first-round draft pick."
Wow.
He told me that. Till this day, I'll never forget that. And I was like, in a way, I got the validation I needed. Like, I could have definitely, like, played in the league. I could have definitely made it. So I think that was what encouraged me to take one more shot to try get there. I went to a combine in Hamilton, Ontario, Diamond in the Rough, and they had scouts from all over, man. And this guy here invited me. He said, "Man, you guys are awesome." They cut so much guys, and I was like in the last like 15 guys. I mean, they were going one-on-ones, and I did well in the one-on-ones. QB just kept overthrowing me though.
Right.
Jeez, I couldn't get that. But anyway, the guy after the conference was over, there was a guy here, and he says, "Hey, I'm gonna invite you to Miami Dolphins camp, but you're gonna have to get your own way there." And then the next gentleman was like, "Hey, there's another camp we can get you to the Washington football team," right? But when they were just the Washington football team before they changed the name to the Washington Commanders, and I say, awesome. I worked so hard. I worked, I want to see like 16 hours straight. I finally saved up enough money, and then COVID happened, and they shut down all the borders, and I was stuck in Canada.
It'd be like
I
that
was stuck.
though.
I couldn't go. I was like, and
Moral of the story, when you're international, you have to be not just prepared, but you also have to be 10 times better than the competition. You have to give them no excuse and no reason and no outs. Like, you have everything straight, paperwork straight. I got my own money. I can show up tomorrow. I ready to go.
Ready to go.
G-O, go.
Go.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so let's wrap this up because we have been talking for an hour, but this has been an amazing conversation. I do want to bring you back very soon, possibly with one of the players.
Yeah.
One of your young boys.
I would love that.
Yes, for them to come on here and talk about their experience learning from you.
Yeah, we got a bowl. Maybe about 4 or 5 guys get ready to leave the program to go to school, and I'm just
Nice, sending them off.
Yeah. When
But that stuff that you say, you don't leave that out of the interview.
No, man, God is in control. I just don't think it, right?
Right, understood.
I'm just manifesting it.
So right now, your program is helping young people get off.
Yeah.
Like, you have the connections and you are able to facilitate that for the ones who are ready and prepared.
Yeah, and the parents are doing a remarkable job. A remarkable job of just going through the process and doing what they need to do to get their kids ready.
and all that stuff.
Yeah, like they're committed, and honestly, like the kids work out, all the boys who are locked in. There's quite a lot of young men grades have even improved from being in the program. Man, listen, parents be sending me the report card, and I'm proud. I don't have kids of my own, but I'm so proud of them, man. Just taking care of business off the field.
Yeah.
Like, just so when opportunity comes and I could beat my chest up. Hey, don't worry, his grade's good. He
Right.
XYZ.
Yeah.
You don't gotta worry about him, coach. He good to go.
Good.
So that just always puts a smile on my face, knowing that I'm impacting those boys already, knowing that they're taking care of business, man, just knowing that they're focused and they're passionate about it, and understanding, blocking out all distractions from within their environment. Because with the program, these kids are escaping environments.
Yeah, they staying out of trouble.
They staying out of trouble, man.
Too tired to get in trouble once they finish working out. And really staying focused and locked in school. And I feel like that's a big thing too. Especially when I was coming up in Freeport, it was so much more programs and things for young people to be involved in and to stay occupied. And even if we had social media back then, I wouldn't have the time to be on it.
Yeah.
Because I was so busy with so much different free programs we had in our community. So thank you so much for what you're doing here in Grand Bahama. Even though you're a visitor with us, you're gladly becoming part of the roots.
Yeah.
And we love to see it. Continue to do what you're doing. Congratulations and all the best with everything.
Yeah, man.
But you guys, that has been Islandish Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back, God's willing, very soon with another episode, bringing you conversations and people that matter on our family islands. Catch y'all later. Peace.